Trump, the information he's asking for, he will target you. And therefore, if you want to make money now in this administration, you have to actually appease Donald Trump. I am not wrong. It's literally proven by literally every action that you look at in terms of donations.
Trump, Bush.
How can you not care who's buying Trump?
Pays the government. How anyone who pays the government, you donate to their campaigns, they're gonna do what you want them to do.
Who else has been this like bold-faced about political favors?
It's always been that way.
This is again. This is the problem of saying it's always been this way.
Maybe
so,
Reagan.
Not even Reagan. So even like let's take a look at just inaugurations for a moment, right? When you look at
hold on a second before you get into your history.
I know it's literally 2 seconds long. 2 seconds.
And I'm cool with what you got to say. I just want to reiterate what I was saying. How it's different. Like we can't compare it to the past because of the. I guess I would call it loyalty or whatever. When loyalty to Trump, like we can't compare it to any. We've never had. It's like Mark said. It's always been like that, and he's correct about that. But now we've gotten to the point where you're doing it in my face, and you don't care. Like you're blatantly, basically disrespecting me with the lies. Now you're not even pretending, to be sweet to me. You're just treating me mean. You know what I mean? But before you were treating me mean, but you were, pretending to be sweet to me. You know what I mean? It's a whole different dynamic that we're in right now, and it's because, of who we have in office. We've never had anybody of his dynamic in office.
Right.
There's a conversation to be had. Yo, what up? Back for another episode of the podcast you didn't know you needed. The Conversation to Be Had podcast. I'm your host, Chalo. That's my co-host, Rashawn. And we're going to get into it today. Today, we're going to talk about trust in the government. We've been going through a lot of things right now. Bring the guys in. We'll talk about it a little bit. How you doing, Mark?
What's up, guys? Laptop in.
Oh, okay, we got Mark is with us, guys. Okay. Today, guys, I need to talk about trust in the government. We got all type of situations. I mean, really, to be honest with you, we've gotten to the point where they just come on TV and lie to us to our face. I mean, and don't even care. I mean, I think we've gotten to that point. So, when you think about it, when we're at the point, some people still do believe in the government. I mean, I personally, I've said it on several podcasts. I mean, the government, I'm just seeing too much, blatant lies. So, I think they're going to have to work to get my trust back. I think we're going to have to probably elect some new people, kind of change up the way we do things and try to go from there, because the way we're going right now, the distrust that they're breeding, I mean, that spills into elections and everything else like that. So it's an important issue, and we'll get into it. Mark, we'll start with you today. Do you trust your government?
Absolutely not. They've been in power way too long. We continue to elect the same people to do the same thing, which is nothing, constantly. Like Joe Biden was in for 50 years before he became president? Like, we gotta stop just keep electing these people constantly. We need new blood. We need term limits. Rashawn and I agree on this.
Okay, we
Like,
got a
term
Rashawn
limits are
agreement.
required.
Mark, you just agreeing with too many people now, man. I might have to, replace you to
No, Rashawn and I have
you're not
agreed on
you're
that
not
for years.
you're not good for conflict no more, man. No,
We got plenty of conflict. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, trust
oh
me,
no,
we
I
do. But
know,
yeah, but nah, I do
I
agree with
know.
I'll
them
be
on the
sure to
term limit.
provide some.
All right. We'll start with you, Jim.
All
What you
right.
got for us?
I'm going to make a point that I've made for quite a while. You'll never hear me. I don't trust the government. I haven't since pretty early in my knowledge of how government functions. But you'll never hear me. You'll rarely hear me call myself anti-government. And you won't hear me also call to like abolish the police, because I think as much as humanity proves over and over and over and over and over again that we can't trust ourselves with these things, we keep doing it anyway. And so it just kind of like seems inevitable that no matter what we do, we're going to form incredibly similar systems of government and incredibly similar systems of policing. So for me, it's a matter of whether I trust it or not. Do we find ways to fix it? And I guess the answer for me is, yeah, you got to keep trying.
Okay.
V?
What about you, V?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, for a long part, I think most Americans didn't trust the government in everything, right? I mean, I think that everyone knows that. But I think the difference now is that it's hit a fever pitch where people don't even believe the regular stuff. So before, you might think, okay, you look at a jobs report and you wouldn't think anything of it. You'd believe it. Now you can't even believe a jobs report. And that's the difference. Because listen, we all know what happened with COINTELPRO, what happened with Bobby Seale, Fred Hampton. I mean, I don't have to go into this. And then after, it was proven that the FBI literally murdered Fred Hampton, and J. Edgar Hoover got a building named after him. So, I mean, we know that there's always been some sort of things happening in the government. But now you can't even believe the most mundane things at all. And I think trust in the government is an all-time low. Not just the president, but Congress and even local governments can't be trusted now. And that's the thing. It's changed to the point where you can't believe anything anymore.
Okay. And you just stole my entire point, so thank you, V. Appreciate that.
All right. Well, you can think of a new one while Anton, new to the panel. What do you think?
All right. So I guess my perspective here is an outside one, right? Because I'm not from the United States. With that said, I'm pretty interested in US politics and have been for a while. I would say, frankly, when it comes to trust in the government, I'm not sure that that's ever been warranted overall. With that said, if there is a moment where you should have, as Americans, lost trust, like lost whatever trust you had left in your government, not to the point of being anti-government, but basically to the point of being skeptical of anything that anyone in government ever says, was in 1973, when Nixon floated the dollar and started off the neoliberal revolution. Because, frankly, that is an aberrant economic system that has changed the rules of the economy in favor of big business. And it doesn't protect the people anymore. They've slashed regulations. They got rid of Glass-Steagall. Western countries are slowly becoming tax havens for big businesses. Our governments don't seem to care about the people anymore. And as far as this current US administration goes, I mean, I sort of see this as like more of a question of, or at least the one of whether you trust the government or not, or whether that's warranted, but what kind of government is it that Americans want to have, right? Do you want to have what you had under the Democrats and more moderate Republicans, which is the continued slow erosion of public services, the continued managed decline of tax rates and managed decline of public services? Or, because that's basically the road to oligarchy, is the way I see it. It's a slow road to oligarchy. That's what the Democrats were doing since at least Bill Clinton. I mean, look at what NAFTA's done to the manufacturing sector in your economy, right? In terms of Trump, I feel like this is just mask off oligarchy. Like, so for me, the question is, what do you want? Do you want mask on oligarchy or mask off oligarchy? Because those are your two choices, right? Doesn't matter who you elect. You've got laws in your country that say that corporations can basically donate any amount of money that they want to politicians. You've got your politicians bought by large businesses, very large businesses, and there are very few exceptions to that. Maybe Thomas Massey in the Republican Party, and maybe a handful of the Progressive Caucus, but really that's it. All the rest are bought. So I sort of question, like, what are we talking about when we talk about trust in the government? Because, like, I don't feel like you've had much of a reason to trust your government since at best since JFK, but like certainly not since Nixon.
Okay.
That's about it.
That was a lot of good points there, man. That's a lot of good points there. So, I'm assuming I'm up next, Charlo. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, if you guys haven't noticed, I'm black. I'm a person of color, right? So really? Trusting the government, yeah, right. So trusting the government for me is something that has never really been a thing. You know, like V mentioned, you had COINTELPRO, but you also had like the Tuskegee study. You had the MOVE bombing, the Tulsa race massacre, Rosewood massacre. You had forced sterilization in California prisons. I mean, there was the Guatemalan syphilis experiments. So for me, I never really had a big trust in government. But with this current administration, what changed for me was that, okay, it's really hard to trust this one. And it kind of shifted because now it's targeting its own people. Well, the majority of people, which is the white people. It's no longer just targeted at us, the blacks and browns. Now it's targeted at everybody, in my opinion. So, you know, I mean, you have like the CDC and other federal health agencies removing web pages on like topics of HIV, vaccines. You got hundreds of federal web pages went away about climate change, environmental policy, scientific research. The national parks removed all types of history. So they're doing this whole scrub of our history and education information in the government. So now it's really hard to trust the government. And I got to say, I mean, a lot of this was brought on by Trump. I mean, think about it. He's the election denier. He brought on a lot of this distrust because here you got the president of the United States that doesn't even believe the outcomes of an election that he even won. He still doesn't believe it, still wants it investigated because he feels like he should have won by more. That's crazy to me, So it's reached the fever pitch, like V said. I do think, a lot of it has to do with the increased polarization in this country, social media. Yeah, I mean, I as a black man, I never really trusted the government, but I mean, nowadays I definitely don't trust the government at all.
There is one point that you made there that I kind of wanted to pick up on if I can.
Sure.
And because you said about how now they're targeting the white people too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like the white people aren't safe now. And like I sort of put that down to because you've got a quasi-authoritarian administration who, and like what authoritarian administrations do is they look at people who go, you disagree with me, and will persecute.
Yeah, they are drawing an ideological line.
Yeah, but this is not the only time that whites have been in danger. Look back at McCarthyism. Plenty of whites were in danger then too. So this isn't the first time. It won't be the last time that they're not only targeting minorities.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, like you've got a government that will target anyone who vocally disagrees with them, and that's the same as back in the McCarthy era. So
it's crazy. It's real quick.
You've got precedent for this, so you guys know how to deal with this.
Yeah,
you got to deal with it the same way.
And it's kind of funny about McCarthyism because I feel like we're going through a McCarthyism 2.0 right now. It's about to start now.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, you are.
You know that Roy Cohn was an influence on Trump, and he was very involved with McCarthyism. I wish I had a whiteboard because I could draw just like a flow chart from like the Confederacy to anti-civil rights GOP to the John Birch Society to the Nixon administration through Reagan into the Trump administration. Like you could draw all these lines things and connect all these things to give you an idea. People tend to think this, like a lot of this started with Trump. Some of this, like the election denial particularly, but there's a lot of things that Trump is a culmination of that have been happening in this country for a long time.
And I'll do it for you, V. V has a video on this, guys. Okay, before he says it, just so you know, V does have a video. I'll do it for you, man. But Charlo, what you think, brother?
Well, I got a different take on that. I don't think that you can compare what's going on right now to anything else in history. And the reason I say that is because you've gotten to a point, like I said when I led the show off, where they're just lying to you and don't even care. Like usually, I mean, the government always lies to you. Don't get that, twisted. But usually when they lie to you, it's supposed to be for the greater good. Like they don't tell you a bomb is in the building. They just evacuate the building, so that, everybody doesn't bum rush out the building and kill each other. You know what I mean? That's supposed to be their purpose in lying for you. It's for your greater good, kind of like you do a child. If that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. And now we've gotten to the point where they're not even doing that anymore. They're just straight up lying to your face and don't care really what you have to say, because they've seen the shift in our culture. They see the split, and as long as we stay split in the ways that we are, by by race, by party, all these other different things, we can't focus on coming together and eliminating them, which is, what we need to do. Like I said, a lot of these guys, we have to vote out. It starts there. It's a monopoly they got going on. The government's about to shut down again. They're going to go have lunch, and while the people suffer, and that type of stuff is wrong. And they tell you they're in these meetings and they're working on it, but you tell me who you hire. Like I said in a few podcasts ago, who would you hire and pay $250,000 a year, and they take 3 or 4 months to solve a problem, like a budget, put a budget together. Either you're gonna get it together or you're fired. That's how it works in the real world. But these dudes, we vote over and over again, and they just stay in office 8, 10, 12 years, and we keep everything in status quo. But back to what I was saying, I don't think you can compare what's happening now to the past, because it started so ugly. Like, I think when we voted in a 34 count felon, it started with that, because what barrier are you setting? What criteria are you setting? Like, you can go to the typical job, and with one felon, you can't have that job. But you can have 34 felons and be the president of the United States. He should have been disqualified just off that. And like, whether you believe that he committed the felonies or not, that's neither here nor there. The fact that he has a felony record should disqualify him from being president of the United States. Like, that's how we should feel as a people. And once they saw that we weren't even on that same accord, you're easy pickings. We're easy pickings. That's why I said now they're starting to, we don't got to tell them nothing. We'll just send dude out there to say, hamburger or squirrel, and they'll go for it. And that's what they do. And it's like so amazing. Like, to me, I guess it's because I don't got no political side. Like, I be watching it go on, and I'm like, man, dude, boy, what a liar. Pam Bondi comes on and does nothing but lie. How could you believe anything she says? That Cass Patel dude, nothing but lies. And these are the chief of what's supposed to be called justice. That doesn't make any sense. The head of justice is just a lie. And that's the country we live in.
Do you remember Pete Hegseth's response when the reporter questioned him on the Signal chat? When a reporter got a chance to talk to Pete Hegseth about the Signal chat, there was no accountability. There was no like, yeah, I have to. It was just completely on the defense and immediately pivoting to offense. And that's a major thing with this administration is that nobody in this administration, it's like a prime directive to never admit you fucked up.
Or never answer a question, really.
Yeah.
I also
The thing is, though,
With maybe the exception of Tulsi Gabbard before she was reined in. To be fair.
I want to say that I understand the comparisons to McCarthyism, but the difference here is that at least back then, not that I accept it, but at least there was a specific reason why they were targeting someone. Now they're targeting people that simply just don't agree with the president at all. And on top of that, they have the largest businesses that have all your data in order to do so. So we're talking Facebook and Google and Amazon and Apple and every single one of them. We have reports now that the FBI and all forms of Department of Justice and DHS have gone to these companies asking for your personal data through not a judicial warrant, through an administrative warrant. And all these companies have said, okay, here you go. Now, in the past, you may recall that both Apple and Google made public notices that how many that they were given every year, like they would put up online how many requests they got from the government, and then they would actually fight it in court and say, no, we won't take it from just administrative warrant. We want a judicial warrant. And they would fight it in court on behalf of their users. That actually happened. And that wasn't that long ago. That was just literally 10, 15 years ago. Now, we have complacency with all of these companies that are saying, if you want it, here you go. You can have it without a judicial warrant. And so what does that mean? That means any of us that dissent from the government are now literally on a list. And we know this is not just some conspiracy because we have the leaked information from the Department of Justice where they are literally targeting individual users. We have the user, it was something like Freak Chicken or something on Reddit because he was talking about a planned protest, and they literally had a whole sheet on him, everything they knew about him. And that is what they're doing with every single person that dissents. That is fascism.
When did that start, though, Reed?
This administration.
No. This all started in 2001 with the Patriot Act.
I can buy that. I can buy that.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Actually,
yes, we started getting heavily surveilled.
Exactly. Everything you type, everything you say is monitored by the government. So
look, go ahead.
2000 going forward, nothing the government says you can trust because they're watching everything you do. Like when you are on Facebook and you are talking, I was talking to my girl about friggin' going on vacation. And all of a sudden on Facebook, all my ads are about vacations to that area.
Well, let's not conflate some things. Hold on. Let me just bring us back to just technology and stuff like that. When you talk to, your girlfriend about something and, Facebook is serving ads, that has nothing to do with the government. That is Facebook simply using their terms of services to monitor your microphone and monitor all the other apps that you do. That is legal, unfortunately, but that's nothing to do with the government.
It's under the Patriot Act.
No. That has nothing to do with the Patriot Act. But
I think that particular thing doesn't.
I think a bit of what Mark might be tying together here, whether intentionally or unintentionally, is that the people that run all those algorithms are now in bed with the federal government. And so the federal government has mingled these things where you've already had those algorithms where if Mark goes online and says he wants to get flowers for his girlfriend, he's now going to get bombarded for weeks of ads for flowers. But now the people that are bombarding him with those ads for flowers may also know that he wanted to purchase a hunting knife, and so they can notify the fucking FBI that, hey, this guy's really interested in hunting knives. And it's all mingled at this point. So the people curating those algorithms are now more than happy to feed them to Peter Thiel, who's going to feed them to Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair point.
And that doesn't make. So why do I get Blue Chew and Rose Sparks all the time, man? I never said anything.
Dude, me too.
I swear to God, man. Every ad is Blue Chew and Rose Sparks.
I'd be like, man,
it's just your age.
Every single one. Every single one.
I have no bedroom problems.
I've never searched it one time.
Never searched it. That's all I get is Blue Chew and Rose Sparks, man. So one day my girl was looking like, she was looking like,
I don't want to.
I
want to really quickly.
Go ahead, brother.
I want to really quickly. Oh, hold up. Where we at? I want to quickly push back on something that Mark said, because D covered this before. So, Michael, I believe what you said was, and I don't want to misrepresent what you said, but basically that all of this data collection by Facebook and giving it to the government, it's all pretty much tied in with the Patriot Act, and that's basically been happening at the same pace and the same level this whole time. The point that D brought up before and was that these companies like Facebook and Google, before 2005, 2006, these companies were opposing government requests for your data, unless you've got a judicial warrant. Now, we're in a whole different situation because they're no longer opposing them. They're just going, here you go. Oh, you've made the request. Right. Here you go. Here's the data. Where that's a whole different thing from, okay, you've made a request, but you need a judicial warrant, and if you don't have one, we're not giving it to you.
Right. And I think that's an important distinction because when you start saying, hey, listen, it's been happening forever, you kind of get complacent, like it's been happening forever, let's not worry about it now. There has been a huge shift on how these companies are interacting with the government. And like I said, even the cellular networks from AT&T, Verizon, and so forth, even they would post on how many requests they were getting. Now, did they give a lot to the government? Yes, but they notified there was transparency about how much information they gave to the government and what information they gave to the government. That doesn't exist anymore. Everyone is just giving everything to the government right now for many reasons, but one of them is simply they're worried about retaliation. They know that if they don't do what the head honcho says, he will place a tariff that's going to cost them money. He will make retaliation. Hold on, Mark. Let me finish. They are 100% worried about retaliation. That's why Apple, who first got tariffed for importing iPhones and laptops, then gave him an award and then gave him $1 million for the inauguration. And what happened? They actually created an exception for the tariffs that it would not tariff the iPhones and the laptops. This is how it works. Unless you personally give Donald Trump the information he's asking for, he will target you. And therefore, if you want to make money now in this administration, you have to actually appease Donald Trump. I am not wrong. It's literally proven by literally every action that you look at in terms of donations.
Trump, Bush.
How can you not care who's buying Trump?
Pays the government. Anyone who pays the government, you donate to their campaigns, they're gonna do what you want them to do.
Who else has been this bold-faced about political favors?
It's always been that way.
This is the problem of saying it's always been this way.
Maybe Reagan.
Not even Reagan. So even let's take a look at just inaugurations for a moment, right? When you look at
hold on a second before you get into your history.
I know it's literally 2 seconds long.
No, 2 seconds. And I'm cool with what you got to say. I just want to reiterate what I was saying. How it's different. Like we can't compare it to the past because of I guess I would call it loyalty or whatever. When loyalty to Trump, like we can't compare it to any. We've never had. It's like Mark said. It's always been like that, and he's correct about that. But now we've gotten to the point where you're doing it in my face and you don't care. Like you're blatantly, basically disrespecting me with the lies. Now you're not even pretending, to be sweet to me. You're just treating me mean. You know what I mean? But when before you were treating me mean, but you were, pretending to be sweet to me. You know what I mean? It's a whole different dynamic that we're in right now, and it's because, of who we have in office. We've never had anybody of his dynamic in office.
So, Cello,
Right.
let me ask you a
Go ahead.
question.
So what I wanted to say
let him finish what he's saying, Mark. Let him finish what he's saying.
So what I simply wanted to just bring up, and just one small piece of this pie. So if you look at the past, if you look at, say, Obama, when he got inaugurated, he had a fund too, but he limited his donations to 50,000. Even if you look at George W. Bush limited his donations. It was like 150,000 or 200,000, something like that. This is the first time that we've had no limit, and that's why we had companies giving Donald Trump $5 million to his inauguration fund. And you had poultry, this is not just technology companies, you had a poultry company give him the most money of any other organization, $5 million. And what did they get out of it? Well, they got faster processing speeds. They got their restrictions removed from the USDA and the FDA. And so this administration is completely pay to play. And the reason why this ties into losing your trust in government is because it's the same thing when you're talking about social media and the tech giants who have all your data. Whether it's a poultry company or whether it's Facebook, they are all giving Donald Trump exactly what he wants, because if they don't, he will retaliate. And we've seen that retaliation. We've seen him, like I said, just with the terrorists with Apple. And Apple had to come to his office and give him an award. And then another $1 million, and then he removed the tariffs. If that's not a direct representation of pay to play, then what is?
I mean, you're seeing it more like with Doge. They went in there and grabbed a bunch of our data. They're looking for voter rolls now. They're demanding voter rolls from states right now. So yeah, I do see what you're saying about that, V. I do also see kind of what Mark was saying too, as well. That it's always been there, and it has been there to a degree. I just feel like that it's been sped up now. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it. I mean, you know me. I feel like our government's being controlled by a foreign entity. So I mean, when it comes to money in there, you got a whole country, another country that's pulling us right now and paying for and putting money into our elections and stuff. So
they're controlled by the Chinese.
No, it's not the Chinese.
Yes,
I think you're talking about Israel, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, Trump's very, very, very blatant about the quid pro quos, especially internationally. Like he's had Zelensky in his office and has basically said out loud, "What are you going to do for me? Nothing. Okay, F you." And then at another press conference, they gave us this, now we're going to give them this. So it's very much a giant quid pro quo right in your face with this guy.
But that's the difference.
And to a degree, like what Charles is talking
Jim,
about with the
wait,
real quick, Mark, can I just say one thing, and I promise I'll let
go ahead.
talk. One thing that I do feel Charles on is that it's in our face and it's disrespectful now. I mean, we just had like Pam Bondi come on and tell us, hey, look, first she was like, what? There is no Epstein list. Then all of a sudden it's on her desk. And then she's saying that, we couldn't release it because it's just full of child pornography. But then all of a sudden 3 million files come out. You know what I mean? So it's like, the story keeps changing. The lies keep changing. So I feel you, Charlo, on what you're talking about, like that in that face disrespect, because I feel disrespected just as well, brother.
And see, if it was any other president, we would be outraged. You see what I mean? Like we wouldn't be standing for, but like he has like you said, he could.
Because y'all seem pretty outraged.
No, well, the thing is, like he said that he could shoot somebody in in the middle of the street and not get convicted for it. And I mean, to an extent, he's right.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he did say that. He's right.
That was a long
time ago.
Yeah.
Damn, I missed that.
To an extent, he's right. Well, he was joking, but what he was basically saying is the people love him so much, there was nothing he could really do wrong. And I mean, to be honest with you,
I don't know if that's true anymore. his approval ratings even
I
among
don't.
Republicans
I
are
don't
going
think it
down.
I
was
mean, yeah,
about
because
loving
we're at the
It's
point
still
now where
high.
it doesn't matter because he can do whatever he wants.
He's a lame duck.
With the
Yeah.
tariffs. I put the tariffs in. You take them to court and they get shut down. I don't care. I'm going to put some more in. You'll probably shut them down. But during the time you're trying to get those shut down, I'm getting what I want out of it, and that's all he's doing.
Our checks and balances have failed miserably.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. When you have such alignment with the president, it's not meant. Our government is not meant to be aligned with the president like that. They're all supposed to be separate entities. They're supposed to check each other when one's doing something that the other two don't think is. We're supposed to check. It's called checks and balances. We don't have that because
right?
if you're not aligned with him, you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
I do think
that's what's gotten messed up with this country.
I do think there's a double-sided coin there where a lot of them are aligned with him because they are just ideologically they're maniacs like him, but there are other ones that know, like, if I don't get in line with this, I am going to become Mitch McConnell, I am going to become Mitt Romney, I am going to become McCain, or not McCain, Liz Cheney, and we're going to be out of friggin' jobs. I think there's an element. I think there's an element of fanaticism and an element of fear that has pervaded the GOP at this point, where the majority of them just go along.
It's not just the GOP though, Jim. It's our entire government. If you don't comply, they're coming after you.
Comply with who though? With Trump or?
No, you don't comply with the GOP. You don't comply with the Democrats. They're gonna come after you.
I mean, because this has always existed.
Like, give me an example.
Understand your point, Mark.
I feel like that's a question of the degree, though, right?
Right, it's the degree. Show me such a blatant, like, favor exchange with Biden. Show me Biden or Obama on stage with a world leader on live television saying, yes, we'll help you, but you're going to have to give us something. On live TV, not in a backroom deal, on live fucking TV.
Jim,
saying, you got to pay.
I agree with you on that. I completely agree with you on that. It is far more blatant now than it has been. And this is the reason why. And this is where Rashawn and I agree, because the politicians no longer fear the voters because they don't have term limits. They know that as long as they kowtow to the PACs and the big corporations, they're going to get reelected. When you put term limits on them, right now, they don't know what your favorite bottle of wine is. They don't know what your favorite cigar is because you're a new body. They got to deal with somebody new.
I think most Americans do agree. I think most Americans do agree with the limit, term limits. But I think the bigger issue here is having money in politics at all. The reason that we're in this mess isn't just because people are career politicians. The reason we're in this mess is because they're getting paid by people. How much money did Google give to both Republicans and Democrats? How much money did Facebook give to Republicans and Democrats? I mean, that's the issue there. It's the money. And as Rashawn said, how much money is Israel giving to Republicans and Democrats? I mean, this is the issue. It's money being funneled through the political system, and then they have to deliver on the money. This is not for free. This is not a charity. They're not doing it out of their own kindness. They're not doing it for the health. They're doing it because they're saying, hey, I am giving you money and I expect something from this. And the fact that we just allow this to happen is ridiculous. Citizens United made it worse. Right? It made it to the extreme where there's literally no limit. right? There's always a way where you can get around the laws and send even literally $1 billion to a candidate, right? But the thing is, we've had this going on for a long time. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And now, again, because, the title of this episode is Losing Trust in the Government, it's all adding up. Everything is at a fever pitch because it's all adding up. You have a president that's denying the election results. You have a president that's denying the Supreme Court. You have a president that has paid a play with every single large company in the United States of America. Then you have all the existing funding of all of these congressional leaders, as well as Israel occupying all of them. And then you have all of this combined, and who can trust the government? I mean, nobody can. If you trust the government, you're a fool.
I think what we're seeing is a fire sale. Honestly, I think everything in our government right now is for sale. You know what I mean? Everything. And I think
everything in our country is for sale.
Yeah, everything's for sale right now. You know what I mean? We're seeing a fire sale. I think that the top 1% of the 1%, they know this. They're buying and selling, and they're just going to get their money and they're going to leave. They're robbing the chest basically right now, and they're doing it more out in the open than they've ever done it before. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you, Anton.
No, you're good.
Let me ask you a question.
You go, man.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When Biden gave $600 million to Moderna to produce vaccines that were forced on the population, which has already been ruled unconstitutional.
Did they do?
We
wasn't Biden
the vaccine.
It wasn't what?
We did.
Finish the last part of your sentence. I didn't hear it.
Do you think that wasn't buying power?
No. What I think is that there were only a couple. This is the patent issue, first of all. So Moderna shouldn't own the patents to the medicine. That's a completely different issue. But the fact of the matter is, Moderna had the patent on this issue. And so the government said, okay, if we want to have this vaccine, we have to pay the people that have the patents to produce it. That's the problem here. It's not that Biden wanted to pay necessarily that company, but because our stupid patent laws patents medicines for 20 years, he had no freaking choice. That's a completely different issue that goes into copyright law, patent law, etc.
No, it's still, this is where the government is controlling us.
Wait. You're missing what he's saying, though. Like, he's saying, but you're missing what he's saying, Mark. He's saying that, hey, he gets your point. He's not even disagreeing with your point. He's saying that Biden was hamstrung by the fact that law says that this company has a patent. So he had to pay them that, by law.
Exactly.
So what, like, so okay. So maybe I'm missing your point then. I don't understand what you're trying to convey here.
So why does the government control pandemics?
Right? Don't say it, V. Hold on, V.
Control pandemics?
Hold on, V. Hold on.
Why can't the government say, this is a pandemic, your patent is irrelevant?
So let me ask you something. Wait. Hold on. But let me ask you something, Mark. So that's what you believe that, right? You believe that the government should go ahead and tell a company that, hey, look, that. Okay, so what would you call that?
You can get there. Come on.
What would you call that? What system of government would you call that?
This is what I keep saying. Like,
some of my views, my man.
Mark,
some of my views are socialist.
Okay, I just wanted to hear you say it, brother. I just wanted to hear you say it.
Some of my views are socialist. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, the government can't control us. We have to control the government. That's our job as voters. But unfortunately,
the problem is that you don't have the ability.
Yeah.
When you don't have, right? So in my state, like, nobody, I don't know if Jim's in Mass, but I know everybody else is. In my state, 72% of the voters said we want an audit of government.
Say that again. What was the last part?
Yes, yeah, we're supposed to have an audit, a state audit. The voters voted for the state audit, and we haven't actually gotten the state audit. I don't know all the. I don't know everything behind this, and I'm not a particularly big fan of Maura Healey. But go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
That's all right, Jim. So 72% of us said the governor's office can't object to an audit. The Senate, House of Representatives in the state can't object to an audit. Yet, even the Attorney General refuses to comply with the law. Like, this is a law we passed, right? And this is where this comes into the topic, right? The voters say, we want an audit. The government says, no, screw you. I'm not letting you audit me. Now, she has to go to federal court to force the state to comply with what the voters want. Now, Jim, are you in Mass?
Yeah.
Right. So we are.
I hope there's a point in here somewhere.
We are the most blue state
For the love of God.
country, I think.
I got a few I want to make, but I'll wait till the bro's done.
But the voters can't even tell the government what to do because the government's gonna say, "Go screw yourself."
Okay, I feel you on that, man. I think your point is well received. What were you going to say, Anton?
So there are a couple of things. The first one is that V here basically destroyed an argument that I was gonna make, that America is not headed towards fascism. So thank you for that, because one of the points that I was gonna make was that for a fascist government to exist, what you need is the government to be telling corporations you have to act in this certain way, otherwise you don't get to play. And V pointed out pretty concisely that that is exactly what's happening. I didn't realize the scale of that, which is a little bit shocking. I actually thought you were heading towards something different, which is oligarchy, which is
we've passed
corporations
that.
Effectively
you can have a fascist oligarchy.
It's an interesting one, right? Because like fascism, the state is in control of the corporation, and the corporation has to act in the interest of the state. Whereas in oligarchy, the state is the one acting in the interest of the corporation. But the lines sort of seem to be blurred now.
Well, if you look at Russia, they're doing it, man. Like Putin tells those MFers what to do, and they get stuff in return.
They also do capital controls, which is interesting. But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. One of the things that Mark said that I kind of, again, like I sort of want to push back on it, was the whole, so like this was kind of covered with the fact that Biden had to abide by patent laws. Like he said, the government could have just ignored that, like they ignored 72% of voters who wanted an audit, right? But the inescapable conclusion is if the government does that, that is fascism. Like that is textbook fascism. We're going to ignore a law that's on the books so that we don't have to pay you to do this thing that we want you to do.
Well, there is a legal mechanism for it, though, right? The Defense of Production Act would allow him to actually say, and it would have been illegal. It wouldn't have been, I'm just making this out of thin air. So there would have been illegal, like you do it in terms of emergency. So I understand what you're saying. That would have been fascism, but not really in terms of the law.
You have a legal mechanism for fascism. I didn't know that.
I mean,
we do actually. Yes, we do.
I didn't know that. We don't have that.
Everything.
So that's crazy, man.
So it happened like during what, World War II or something like that? When did that happen?
That's exactly what it was used for.
They took over.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
During COVID,
You go, man.
Trump used I want to say it's the Defense Production Act.
Correct. He used the Defense
Yes.
Production Act for
Yes.
the PPE.
To create, what was it, breathing machines, or I can't exactly
For a lot of
remember.
PPE. He did it for PPE. He did it for the incubators and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, So
I
there
like that
is
we're
a
heading down the
mechanism.
road that there are sometimes justifications for fascism, because that's what I'm hearing right now.
So I think that, like, in certain situations, emergencies or anything like that, let's just say that they need to make, I don't know, hypodermic needles or something like that, and we need it, right? I think that law is actually beneficial. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like, so I know how you say you're framing it like it's fascism. I hear you, I do, but I think that there are certain, but it's got to be used very sparingly and for very, very.
So,
Go ahead.
I don't oppose the statement, right, that
Right.
there are possibly some scenarios in which fascist policies are justified.
I mean, I know that you're using the term
scenarios
fascist.
Seem like they are scenarios that in which it is justified.
It's not
Sorry,
necessarily
go on.
fascist. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You should apologize. So it's not that, I know that you're using the term fascism, but in my opinion, it's not fascism. This is literally socialism, and it's not. And I don't think we should get it confused, because when the government does something for the benefit of the people, right, and we're using tax dollars to do that, that's when it's socialist. So the Defense Production Act was written so we could save the United States, because at that point we thought that we would get bombed, out of the blue by anyone. So we wanted to protect ourselves. And I am okay with either Donald Trump or Joe Biden using the Defense Production Act when it's necessary. Those are those mechanisms. Now, the problem that we have is that we're trying to correlate and, marry certain parts of capitalism and then use a Defense Production Act. You're like, well, what are we doing? And, the thing that I believe is that I think that when you look at Moderna, in this example, and you look at how the government helped them for all this time, right? The government used our tax dollars to give them money that helped them create this vaccine. The government also passed laws saying that what they created can be patented. No one else could use that technology and that specific formula, right? But that was assisted with government money, our tax money. So it would make sense that the government says, hey, listen, we funded you. We actually created this. Now you need to use it for the benefit and not just profit of it. But they actually did let them profit off of this. And that's the thing. So you had a marriage of capitalism and I want to say socialism, but I wouldn't go so far and say that was fascism, because that's not exactly what fascism is.
If I could throw some info in here just as parallels to some of the stuff that's happening right now. Chalo mentioned towards the beginning that with the tariffs currently, Trump has put the tariffs in place, and now the Supreme Court has said, no, you can't have the tariffs. And Trump's immediate response is, well, the Supreme Court's wrong. I'm going to have the tariffs anyway, blah, blah, blah. Doing what he's doing, where he's now adding 15% worth of tariffs. Two parallels to this from the Biden administration were student loan forgiveness and the mandated vaccines. Both of those things, in the process of doing these, face court challenges, and when courts shut them down, Joe Biden did say, in the Biden administration as a whole, did say, all right, well, constitutionally, these are the portions of this that we can implement. And after this, we're wiping our hands of it because the court says we cannot do this. Right. This happened with the student loan forgiveness, very specifically. He did the forgiveness program, and then it got challenged in court. And at that point, Biden said, all right, these are the ones that we can constitutionally just wipe out. And people were mad because the Biden administration at that point, they couldn't keep a promise, myself included. I wasn't happy about this, but they couldn't keep a promise because the court shut it down. But they said, all right, court shut it down. That's it, guys. They washed their hands and walked away from it, which is not what the Trump administration is doing. every time the Trump administration is denied something by the courts, they go to a different court and a different court, and they just keep punching the damn wall.
So the Supreme Court, just struck down the tariffs, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, and as soon as they struck down the tariffs,
as soon as they did that, he goes, "We're going to find another way to do that because there are other avenues." So basically, he's saying we're just going to ignore the Supreme Court and find another way.
Right,
to do this.
And he's ignored the courts on multiple occasions. This isn't something that you saw the Biden administration doing, just saying "F the courts." They may not have liked some of the court decisions, and they may challenge, but ultimately, the Biden administration was abiding by what the court said.
Right.
I'm gonna mount a little bit of a defense of Trump at some point soon. The rest of you are gonna hate this. I suspect Mark might not, but yeah.
No, go ahead. I want to hear this.
All right. When it comes to like domestic policy, like I get what you guys are saying. I would argue that realistically, you guys are an empire. You've been an empire since 1948, and you've spent the whole time up until now, pretending that you're not one, right? All the biggest difference here is that Trump is being honest about it, right? He is acting in what I would argue is the American strategic interest. If America is a mask-off empire, like going into Venezuela, right? To go and secure the oil, I would argue that was in America's strategic interest. Now, was it bungled? Absolutely. But the plan was absolutely within America's strategic interest. You've got countries like China and Russia who are de-dollarizing. You've got Saudi Arabia, who had the petrodollar deal with Kissinger, right, back in the 70s, who have abandoned that in favor of China. What that means is that threatens the value of your dollar, right? Mm-hmm. So as the empire, you can't have that shit happening, right? So what do? If your oil supply is being threatened, the exclusive, or not exclusive, but the preferential rights that you had to Saudi oil is gone. What do you do about that? Well, you go and you secure the biggest source of oil in the world, which is in Venezuela. So the
Trump administration promised to drill domestically. The Trump administration promised not to do this. We are not going to have wars. We're not going to have oil wars. We're going to drill, baby, drill.
Well, certainly they lied.
Right.
Not that I want them to do this, but we have not increased domestic oil production by any significant amount. We are, in fact, regime changing for oil at the moment.
But on Anton's point, though, I do agree with them. I just think that what Trump is doing is something that America has been doing for decades. It's just that now he's just doing it out in the open. This isn't anything new. Regime change, CIA back coups and stuff like that. We've been doing that. It's just that it was always secret.
No. Well,
it's not just that. Come on, man.
He had a lot of times you had congressional approval, or you at the very least had committee approval. So congressional authorities were at least notified. What you have is unilateral action being taken by the executive office with no discussion with anyone that is supposed to have oversight over this. So, I mean, I understand the reason and the temptation to simply say it's always been like this. This has always been, and you're right in some aspects, right? But the details do matter, and the details of not working with Congress in order to perform those actions is a step too high of what I'm willing to accept. And not that I was willing to accept war with Iraq before, but going in there without any congressional approval, literally breaking all of the norms that we've had, is just too much.
But hold on real quick. Hold on, Mark, real quick. What you're forgetting is not just. I mean, think about it. I mean, I think Iran would disagree with you. I think Guatemala would disagree with you. I think Chile would disagree with you. The Congo. I mean, these are all CIA-backed coups, man. It was unilaterally done. This is new. This is not new for the American Empire, dude. Seriously.
This speaks to the in-your-face nature, Rashawn. Like Kissinger and Nixon kind of covertly installed Pinochet, whereas Trump will just take a bag of money from like MBS.
Right. But that's what I was saying. Like, that's what I was saying. Anton's right. This This is something that we've been doing for decades. I mean, nothing's changed. It's just that, like you said, and Anton was saying, Trump just doesn't try and hide it. He doesn't make it smooth. He's just like, hey, we're going to do it out in the open. But America has been doing this type of stuff for years.
Saying, like this, you can't compare it to anything else because he makes it different. He makes it
different by being honest about it.
Put it to you like this. Okay, let's take the tariffs.
I agree with Anton on that part.
Let's take the tariffs for example. Okay, that got shut down by the Supreme Court, right? So he said he was going to find a different way to do it, and you know who agreed with him? Mark.
Wait. No.
I saw your post. Yeah, I saw your post, dude. Oh no, he's just gonna find a different way to do it. Do you want me to pull it up?
Go look at the Supreme Court decision. Right? Kavanaugh said in the Supreme Court decision he could use A, B, C, or D, but this one didn't work.
Hold up a minute. You're talking about Kavanaugh, who was a dissenter, right? So that's not part of the Supreme Court ruling, dude.
Yes, it is.
Like the
no,
ruling,
it's a dissenting opinion.
He was a dissenting opinion.
When he said he could have used A, B, C, or D, but he used A, he can't do that. But
you understand, like, a dissenting opinion is not the ruling. A dissenting opinion means I don't agree with this ruling, so here is what my thoughts are, but it's not the official ruling of the Supreme Court.
But what he said was there's 5 other possibilities that would work.
As a dissenting opinion, correct?
And Trump, Trump is going to find one of those alternatives to do.
Exactly.
It's going to get,
and that's what my post was about. He's just going to use a different rule.
So,
are you cool with that?
If I get this straight, basically what you're saying is that, like, you didn't actually necessarily agree with him going a different way about it. It's just the reality is that he's going to, right?
The government is going to do what the government's going to do.
Yeah, I think I agree with you then on that, to be honest. I don't know that we should be paying much attention to the opinions of Brett Kavanaugh because he was a dissenting opinion more than we should say the opinion of Neil Gorsuch. But I do take your point that he is going to do it anyway.
Like, the government's going to do what they're going to do, right? This discussion is about
legal or not, huh?
Do we trust our government?
No. Legal or not?
I mean, Mark, if you have that belief that the government's going to do what they're going to do, why do you even vote? I mean, if they're going to do what they want to do, and you feel that strongly about it that it doesn't, why do you vote?